Hello, I'm Ann Scottlin, and welcome to my weekly show, Motivation Mythbusters. I am so glad you've joined me today to talk a little bit more about motivation. And please leave your questions and comments in the comments below, or you can also leave questions and comments on Twitter under one of my tweets this week. And I'm at Ann Scottlin, that's ANNESCOTTLIN on Twitter. Today on Motivation Mythbusters, I'm talking about an idea, the myth we've all bought into at one time or another, the idea that motivation is a feeling. Okay, I hear you say, what? What if I don't feel motivated? If I don't feel motivated, I don't feel motivated. So how can that be a myth? I'll get to that. But before we begin, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my listeners, Yuva from Germany, who listens to my show. He wrote after my last show here last week and says, "Wonderful words for our motivation. Hi, Ann. You're doing a great job here. I am always happy about your wonderful advice and what you have to say." Well, thank you so much, Yuva. I really appreciate that. I'm glad you're listening from Germany, and I hope you're listening again now. And if you'd like a shout out on my broadcast, again, post a comment below or under one of my tweets, and I'll be picking one or more to shout out or questions to answer on the next show. So today, as I said, I'm talking about this idea that we all get in our heads when we don't feel motivated. And we have connected this feeling that we call not motivated to a feeling. Can I say that again? We have connected this idea of not being motivated to a feeling. Whoa, there you go. Okay. So it's my job to help encourage people and clients and help motivate them and get them started, get them going. And I see this in my clients all the time, this idea that I just don't feel motivated right now. They have their goals, their ambitions, their job, their tasks, maybe their fitness. All of us have to-dos and I ask my clients, I say, listen, how often do you hear yourself admitting, either out loud or to yourself, I just don't feel motivated right now? And for most people, the answer is, often. Well, at least they're honest. Well, why is that though? When there's so many things that we want to do or we have to accomplish, then why do we have these frequent moments of not feeling like we have what it takes? Why do we say we feel unmotivated? Well, there can be many reasons, but before we look at some, let's return for a moment to definitions. You guys know I love words and I love definitions, so here we go. The dictionary definition of motivation is a strong reason to act or accomplish something. You caught that, right? The dictionary definition of motivation is a strong reason to act or accomplish something. So, motivation is not a feeling. Motivation is a reason. Even the idea of being motivated is a state, not a feeling. Motivation is a reason. It's a driving stimulus to do something. Maybe whether you feel like it or not. And that's what we're going to get to in a minute. So the phrase feeling motivated is basically a myth that has been built by popular culture and some industries that thrive on that premise. The myth that if you don't feel high on adrenaline, if you don't feel motivated, that you're not motivated to take action. But motivation is not a feeling. I think that's great news. Motivation is the reason itself that you want to accomplish something. Motivation is a reason. And sometimes you'll find a feeling of energy, of course, and sometimes you'll have an emotional desire to get things done. And that's fine. And that may depend on the day or how you felt when you woke up in the morning. But it is motivation as a reason that is the foundation, not the feeling. So this means that you can remove whatever feeling may be floating on top of that reason, that motivation, and you still have the reason, you will still be motivated, regardless of the feeling. That's kind of good news, since, as I said, for myself and lots of my clients, we don't often feel super motivated to do some things. The stimulus lies below your feelings. It's the thing that drives you when you don't feel like doing it, or when you're tired and when you'd rather be doing something else. The real question is, if you don't feel motivated, then let's take a look at what is your strongest reason. The question is, what is your real reason? And I ask the people I work with this, and I invite you to ask yourself this as well right now. Pick an area of your life, in particular, an area where you don't, quote unquote, feel very motivated right now, and ask yourself this. What is my deepest reason for wanting this? Go ahead, answer that for yourself. What is your deepest reason for wanting that thing or outcome? Now ask yourself, is that truly my real reason? Is it? Is that your very deepest reason? I have a whole exercise I do around this in my workshop, but for now, just be deeply honest with yourself. What's your reason? Do you have an even more honest reason than that? Sometimes when we start looking within and getting to the bottom of things, we get a little nervous being honest with ourselves. And at the heart of your motivation is this question. Am I willing to be completely, authentically, excruciatingly, if need be, honest with myself about my reason, with a capital R, reason? Are you willing to honestly ask yourself that question? Now, to be fair, there is more than one degree of motivation. There's this more than one degree than the strong reason to act or accomplish something. There's two different ways to look at this. There's the present moment, like at this particular present moment, I'm not motivated to do the dishes. And then there's the grander scheme motivations, the grander scheme reasons. Asking yourself, what is my reason behind my current life choices? Do you know? And if you're not sure, don't worry, you're not alone. So first I want to address this present moment example, the present moment, the dishes, right? Well, the comedy in I don't feel motivated is that often, unbeknown to you, you are always motivated. What? You are, and it's funny. Well, I often find it funny. I laugh with myself all the time. Here's an example. So when my alarm goes off many mornings, and I am not a morning person, let's just be honest here. When my alarm goes off in the morning to get me up, to go exercise, to go work out, I turn it off and I slam it down sometimes. I actually get mad at my alarm clock. Like, what did it ever do to me, right? No, I don't throw it across the room. I just give it a good clunk on the side table. But I actually get mad at my alarm clock. Have you ever been mad at your alarm clock? or those of you who aren't morning people, you're not going to relate to this, but come along for the ride. You'll get my point anyway. So I turn my alarm off as fast as I can, and then I stare up at the ceiling, or more likely at the back of my eyelids, right? And I think, I just don't have it in me to get up yet. I just can't. I just feel so unmotivated right now. Maybe I can work out tonight instead? Like that ever happens. Now, regardless of the choice I make at this point, in this present moment kind of motivation, does this scenario prove that I am not committed to my fitness just because I don't feel motivated to jump out of bed? Does that mean I'm not committed to my fitness? Well, maybe, or maybe not. But what it does mean is that right then, laying in bed first thing in the morning, I am motivated. What? I am hugely motivated, because in that moment, my honest reason behind what I want is, I want to be comfortable. That's the honest truth. In that moment, my reason is I want to be comfortable. I want to stay in bed. I want to go back to sleep. Now, I'm not saying that that's good or bad. It's just honest. My driving stimulus, my reason, my motivation is very, very, very present in that moment. And it is, I want to be comfortable. Acknowledging the truth of that to myself is a valuable method of ongoing self-awareness. If you want to build or develop anything in your life, it's unlikely to be sustainable unless you start being willing to be truly honest with yourself and getting to the bottom of your motivation. And again, the comedy in I don't feel motivated is that often you are actually very motivated, just not in the direction you were hoping. Now that I've addressed the present moment example, I do want to move on to my second example, that second situation, the bigger motivation, the bigger reason, the grander scheme of things. When you don't, quote unquote, feel motivated in those big questions, ask yourself, what is the reason behind my current life choices? Do you really want the job you have, but you dread going to work? Why is that, do you think, if you really want the job you have? Or does money motivate you as much as you think it does? Does it motivate you at the heart and gut level? If you're honest, maybe not. Does a 20% bigger paycheck make you a happier person? There's no right or wrong answer to that. I'm just asking you to ask yourself. Or what about the people in your life? What is the real, honest stimulus, the reason, the motivation behind those relationships? Is it so you can get something? Is it so you can give something? Is it because you feel obligated? Is it because you don't want to be alone? Is it because when you're together, you're happy? Do you love doing life together with the people that you've drawn around you? Again, there's no right or wrong answer there. I'm just asking you to ask yourself. And finally, again, what is your deepest fundamental stimulus? What is your deepest motivation? This is so good to take a few moments or minutes or hours or days or journal it for a few weeks to really look deeply within and understand what is your real reason with a capital R. Take some time to create self-awareness around this question. What is your purpose in life? Are you just rolling along with no particular sense of direction? Or maybe you're just trying to survive the rat race? Or do you have a sense of vision and a calling to a particular vocation or contribution to make the world a better place? What would make you most deeply satisfied and at peace? Because if your motivation is not aligned with that, it's worth taking a harder look. And the best way to do this, the best way to answer these questions for now, is to leave others out of it and just practice being frankly honest with yourself. The answers might surprise you. It surprises a lot of people. And the next time you say, I just don't feel motivated, ask yourself, is this a momentary question? Is this just a present question at 5:30 in the morning when my real motivation is to stay comfortable and stay in bed? Or when I say I don't, quote unquote, feel motivated, is this something much deeper? Is this something that's maybe hidden away in a place that you are often afraid to visit, your inner sanctum, the place where you ask and answer those most honest questions about yourself? Take some time alone and ask. And I'm going to leave you with this, a more lighthearted reminder for you to remember as you go through your day and your week. And here it is. We said it earlier. The comedy in I don't feel motivated is that often, unbeknown to you, you are always motivated. The comedy in I don't feel motivated is that you actually are, just maybe not in the direction you were thinking it was supposed to be. Well, find out what your reason is. That's my challenge. Find out what your reason is. Find out your real motivation. Well, our time is nearly up. Thank you so much for joining me here again today to talk about motivation. It's always a pleasure to have you here and listening. Thank you for your comments and questions. I see them here, and I will be picking some to respond to, so please join me next time. And you can learn more about me on my website at AnnScottlinCoaching.com. And again, join my other followers on Twitter for several daily doses of motivation and inspiration that I write just for you. And that's at Ann Scottlin, ANNESCOTTLIN on Twitter. I hope our time together today has given you some food for thought. Thank you for letting me be part of your journey. See you soon.